one more page to do in this Desmos activity. This is a Desmos activity called Make Them Balance. And so far I've made 10 videos for each page of the Desmos activity, and this is page 11. So on page 11 you will see this. This is what you'll see. And it says reflect. Choose one of the representations and use it to discuss the following questions. So we're going to select a representation. We're going to either select a hanger or a graph, and then we're going to record our responses to one question. We're going to select one question and record our responses. So let's take a look at the questions that we have the option of selecting. We can select what is a system of equations, or we can select what does it mean to find the solution to a system of equations. I have the option of clicking a hanger or clicking the graph. So I think I am going to click the hanger, and let's check it out. What is a system of equations? What does it mean to find the solution to a system of equations? So system of equations, I went over what a system of equations was in a couple videos back. Essentially in that video, what I had said was a system of equations is going to be a set of equations, so two or more equations where the number of equations you have is going to match with the number of unknowns that you have. So here we have 1 and 2 equations, and we have two unknowns, x and y. So here we have a system of equations with two unknowns, and we have two equations. So two equations, two unknowns. That's going to be a system of equations. So we can just go ahead and type that in here. Finding a solution to the system of equations means we balance the hangers at the same time. So I'm just going to type in what a system of equations is. A system of equations is a set of equations where the number of equations matches the number of unknowns in the equation. So if we have two equations, we will have two unknowns. And then the unknowns here are x, y. The other thing about systems of equations, they have to be linear systems or linear equations. And we haven't talked about linear equations yet, so don't get too caught up with this word. That's fine. They have to be linear equations. That just means we don't have anything that's x to the second power or to the third power or to the fourth power. We don't have that kind of stuff. And by the way, this little caret here means to the power. So if you see x squared, a computer keyboard doesn't easily type superscripts. That's what it's called, a superscript. And so sometimes people will type it like this. Instead of typing x to the second power, they'll type x and then caret 2. Those mean the same thing. So what I mean here when I say no x to the second power is I mean that if you look at the equations, there are no powers for the variables, right? So x doesn't have like a 2 or a 3. It has no power. And y also has no powers. So that's what I mean by linear equation. Linear equation just says the equation does not have this. It doesn't have any variables that have any sort of powers. That's what a linear equation is. So, but like I said, that's kind of beyond this class, so don't worry about that too much. Okay, so that's it for this screen, and that finishes up the entire Desmos activity. I do want to say, going through it myself, I feel like it is fairly challenging, and I feel like it's fairly beyond what you can be expected to do on an exam in the 7th grade, maybe in the 8th grade, maybe in the 9th grade. But for here, this is pretty challenging. So I gladly went over this entire Desmos activity with you, and I hope that it helped. And yeah, good luck with this, and I will see you guys again in another video.